Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nikki.
So we're back again for another week. So,
Yep, before we get into the holidays,
absolutely. So, let's begin with our sponsors.
Irby Entertainment, your go-to when it comes to DJing, DJ equipment, as well as urban apparel. When our line hits next year, you all better look out.
All right, all right. And
Sheer Dazzle Salon. I tend to get on this show right before I get my hair done because Kay likes to do stuff on Monday because the show drops on Tuesday and she knows my hair day is Tuesday. But I think that's some undercover shade that she likes to throw off on me, but it's okay. But anyway, we're going to shout out Kiki Jones of Sheer Dazzle Salon and the lovely ladies that work there in her shop. She's in Chesapeake, Virginia, as it states there, in our lower third. And she has her shop in the Sam Circle area. So if you're interested in Kiki, definitely look for her on Instagram as well as Facebook and on Style Seat. She is my stylist
look, you,
and a
you
natural,
see,
by the way.
you see, I need help. I got all these flyaways I was trying to glue down. I had no Gorilla Glue, so I'm like flying all over the place. All
Girl,
right.
you don't want Gorilla Glue. And Color You Cosmetics. And this is the brainchild in the business of Karen Starling. She actually has two locations. One is in Lithonia, Georgia, and the other one is in Norfolk, Virginia. And she also sells her product via online. So look for Color You Cosmetics. There is a website. She's on Facebook. She's also on Instagram. And she also has a makeup artist school here in Norfolk, Virginia. So if you're trying to be a makeup artist, definitely work with her. And if you're interested in my look, I am wearing her product. And tonight's lip color is Vamp.
Ooh, all right, all right. Well, let's get into it. Tonight's movie is Jingle Jangle, which came out last year
And,
on Netflix.
and you forgot to mention snacks because I have snacks. You probably don't have
Oh, you
snacks.
got
That's
who
why
you
you're
got
trying to
snacks
rush through it.
with?
Yes, I have snacks with this is Moon Dance Desserts. It's gluten free. So for all my gluten free people out there, these are gingerbread men. And when I tell you they taste buttery and homemade, they are fantabulous. That's my
Where'd you
word.
get where'd you get those?
Fresh Market.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Black Items for Fresh Market. So they are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. 120 calories per cookie. So you are splurging a little bit when you have more than one of our little friends. But hey, it's well worth it if you've worked out or you cut back in some other areas. So definitely check out Moon Dance. And also, I'm having two different coffees this evening. Also from Fresh Market, we have a say these names right. Burrow blend, which has some chocolate notes in it, and we also have Snickerdoodle. So
Ooh.
one is caffeinated, one is not caffeinated. I had both those mixed together, and then I topped it off with a almond creamer, which is Califia Farms almond milk creamer, and it's the dark chocolate truffle.
Oh, you
That's
just
my
being
own.
indulgent.
I'm being indulgent, and this is my favorite winter mug, and it has a little cap, and it also turns into a coaster. Yep, I
I
think it's
like
called Saint. I think it's called Saint Nicholas. This is
hmm
the brand Saint Nicholas or whatever. So I had to break it out. Oh, and I also want to talk about my little outfit because you can't talk about Jingle Jangle without looking whimsical. In my other life, because I have two or three podcasting, life coach, and I'm an assistant principal. Today was Ugly Sweater Day. So
Okay.
this is one of my creations. It actually has a cape with a snowman on the back. But I mean, it's very interesting. So I wore it today. I just thought it would be befitting that I
You
would
you went
dress
all
for the
out.
occasion.
Clearly I didn't get the memo because yeah. I mean I got a little shimmer on my shirt, but I don't know if that really counts. But it looks icy
We're
blue.
gonna it's gonna count today. We'll let it count
Okay.
today.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right.
Now into the movie.
Yeah, Jingle Jangle. So this came out last year on Netflix.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but when I heard about it, I didn't quite know what to expect because
Yeah.
I'm picky about my holiday movies. I'm like, I don't want nothing cliche. I hope this isn't corny. And yeah, really, I went there. And then the movie started, and I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And from the opening, just the opening segment, I was like, okay, I can get with this. I like it.
Hmm.
And it turned out to be it's, to me, it's an instant classic. What did you think?
I believe that's an instant classic, and it put me in a mindset of Willy Wonka, but not as dark,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Express, which is, mystical and whimsical and just beautiful.
Yeah.
When they actually made Polar Express come alive,
Mm-hmm.
that became an instant classic for me. So, it's kind of like I said, Willy Wonka meets um Polar Express in
Mm-hmm.
a way.
Yeah. I think what the two things I love about it is that they put so many things into it. You got the definite Afrocentric influence,
Yes.
in the costume design, the hairstyles, the way they were dancing. That's there, which makes it distinctly, oh, this is a holiday story for African American kids where they can see themselves in the story. And they did it steampunk style, which makes that accessible where, most people probably, when you say steampunk, you see white characters. You don't see black, you don't
Yeah.
see Asian, you don't see anybody else. And I'll add this as the third, even though it was black leading characters, it was a well diverse community within the film. You didn't just see all black people. It was black folks, white folks, Asian folks. Everybody was there.
Represented, which is what society is.
Right.
It just had us in the forefront versus in the background, which
Right.
which I can really appreciate. We grew up in a time where when we saw Christmas movies, minorities were not represented. They just were
Or
not. And
there may have
there
been
is
one little burnt rice
one.
crispy in the background somewhere.
Yeah, but we didn't. But you had to really look for that person, and
Right.
then I was like that one kid, because I think in Frosty Snowman is just one little African American boy
I
that
never
I can
paid
remember all the time.
attention.
Oh my gosh, I love Frosty. First of all, well, I'm not gonna go there, but it's like because I go off on a tangent. We'll make this 15-minute, 20-minute show into a whole hour just talking about all the little nuances when it comes to shows like that. But just being able to see yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and look up there, and you're like, oh, my grandma looks like that, or I have friends that look like that, or whatever. What I really like in particularly is that it is a period piece because the dress and everything goes back to the Victorian era.
Mm-hmm.
So I can appreciate that, because when you think about a lot about Scrooge or whatever,
That's
that
where it's
style dress, same thing when it comes to or what's my other one, Arbor Twist, that type
right.
of thing. So just having those hints of when you think about Christmas, you kind of like want to look at something that may not be as modern,
Right.
has some hints of some modern things, but more of something way back in the day.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what steampunk is.
Yes.
It's that time period with
Mm-hmm.
the modern day elements blended together.
Blended in.
Yeah. So I love the way they did it. I think the last movie I'm aware of that had that theme was Wild Wild West with Will
Yeah.
Smith. I didn't watch it, but I'm aware of it. So we can talk
I did.
about
I
that
just
on
can't.
another show.
Yeah, I can't remember. All of it because it's been so long ago. And
Hmm.
then I think that the soundtrack for it that he did, and the main song for it. kind of end up being more of a thing that most people remember, more so than the
Okay.
movie itself.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah.
can do that one at a later date. But I think the other element that I loved about this was that they they had the main characters, Geronicus and his daughter Jessica. They were mathematically minded. They were
Yes.
inventors, and it wasn't throw it in your face like, okay, we can do this too kind of thing, but they were there throwing up algebra and calculus equations in the air and going, oh, if you put this here and do that there, then, oh, the equation means, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, we are that brilliant, which again is not something that's necessarily highlighted in mainstream, or if it's done in a very deliberate way. The way they did this, it's just part of the story. It makes sense because
Black
they're
Panther was the
inventors.
same way. Black Panther was the same way. The fact that they were able to hide themselves all those years from civilization and have all these wonderful inventions and this technology and
Right.
and be self-sufficient. A lot of the movies that are featuring us now have hints of that, about
Right.
our brilliance, about how we're hidden in plain sight. And
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of talk about that towards the end when it comes to what happens at the end of the movie, um, about the whole hidden in plain sight. But one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to bring up is, do you know what the budget for this movie was?
No.
$200 million.
Wow.
That's what I read on one site, and I'm like, that's kind of course, it didn't touch that amount,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to think, how much did they really perceive this movie having to sell in order to actually, get into the black, when you if you were to dump that much money into anything, which I don't think they would have done it, because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think movies like that require that.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you're looking, and that lets you know the power of Netflix. So when you all are paying your $8.99 to, I think it's 19, whatever, because I hate to say I got the lowest, wrong of Netflix. You know, that stuff adds up when we're talking about budgets when it comes to
Right.
movies, or what people are able to put in to finance these things.
Yeah. Well, again, from the opening scene, the one thing that struck me is, okay, this works great on film because you can go to this part of the neighborhood, that part of the neighborhood, and see all the interactions and everything, and it all flows. But this could very well be turned into a stage play. It's that theatrical that you could go ahead, put it on the stage, and it will flow just as nicely with minimal effort because there's that much with the dancing and the singing and everything else. It's all there.
And it's interesting that you said that, because you're looking at it becoming a stage play, and there's so many people that are looking at it potentially having a sequel. And a lot of the different sites that I read stated that there's room for it to become one, but
Yep.
Netflix isn't looking to do it. And and there's also word that other stories can actually spin off from what
Mhm.
Cobbletown,
Oh yeah.
Cobbleton, yeah, Cobbleton. So if you kind of look at that, it's a lot of different directions it can go in, or just be. And sometimes we just need to let things just be, because, give you an example, I really dislike Grease 2. I
You like
can't.
just like what Grease 2?
I can't do Grease 2 at all. If
Oh,
Grease
okay.
1 is on, normally they'll roll into Grease 2, and I'm just like, stop. Please
Hmm.
don't. I can't do Grease 2.
Yeah.
Grease 1 by itself just broke the mold for me. So, no. So I think sometimes it's just better just to let Sleeping Dogs, like the old people say, Sleeping Dogs Lie. Just let this thing be what it is, and not
Yeah.
try to make it into something else.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that because I watched it twice over the weekend because you know me, I like to take copious notes, but this weekend I was interrupted weekend. But
That's interesting because you're the copious notes person and I am so not. So it's like I actually have notes this week. Wow. Picture that with a Kodak. I have notes this week.
yeah. But as I was watching it, I was thinking that too. By the time it got to the end, I was like, you know what? If they wanted to take it that far, they could. I can't remember the guy's name. The apprentice that stole
Mm.
the toy. They could take his story and at the end say, okay, after so many years, he's out of prison and this is where his life is.
Yeah.
And that would be the perfect, and it doesn't even have to be a full movie. That could be just a little half-hour show.
But you know what blessed me in this whole film thing, this movie,
Mm-hmm.
is how you can bounce back from adversity.
Mm-hmm.
How, when you think about the fact that his big book of inventions was stolen, all of
Right.
his ideas, he had it all warehoused. Well, first of all, it teaches us to have stuff in multiple places. That's one
Right.
thing. The second, it's like it's so many lessons that we can infer
Right.
from watching this, but it also lets you know that just because something fails or you lose out on something, that there are more ideas out here if you just attend to your creativity, into your thought process, into the belief in yourself. Something else will come out that'll be even greater than what was taken. So, and I'm being honest with you, with some things I'm going through when it comes to my own brand, that spoke to me. I mean, everybody else is like dancing and jigging and happy, and I'm like, that part, that's the thing that spoke to me the most, because we all need to believe and know that you can
Right.
have a bad break or a hard
Mm-hmm.
fall, but it's something else out there for you.
Right.
Yeah.
What stuck out to me was the theme of you need people.
Yes.
You need people because Geronicus needed his granddaughter to pull him out. And it didn't matter that she was so young, she
Hmm.
was of like mind to him. And she
Yeah.
made it her purpose to go see him because she knew, okay, I need him. And when she got there, she found out, oh,
He needed me.
I can help him. And
Yeah.
then again, with his apprentice, his apprentice was like, I need you to do this now. And Geronicus was so excited about his new invention. He's jumping up and dancing around and celebrating. For a moment, he missed, that his apprentice needed him, but his apprentice missed out because he got frustrated
Yeah.
and walked away. And the answer was right there. The answer for what he needed was right there with Geronicus.
Yes.
So it's like, A, be patient, and two, you need other people, were the two
You
things
do.
that came out of that for me.
And I will also say that passing down your history,
Mm,
those rich stories about, and that's something, by being an African American, and the fact that we have to have things like ancestry, and we have to
right,
dig deep and get the old family Bibles, and some of the things we've lost,
right.
because of, you know, how we got over here, and just the survival mode, that once we got over here, that some things were not passed down or translated to us well to meet us in
Hmm.
this generation. How important it is to tell those stories, whatever
Right.
stories you do know, to make your descendants aware, that you come from greatness, and that there is something that you can celebrate
Hmm.
and know about yourself, other than what it is that you're doing now. It comes from somewhere.
Right.
So I think that was a very important part, because that's how the movie ended, was with
Exactly.
her sitting down and saying, hey, this is who I am. This is, where you come from.
Exactly. Exactly. And uh, it's Robert E. Talbert, right?
Yeah.
I'm bad with names. So if that name sounds familiar to you, He's the author of the book Baggage Claim, which was also turned into the movie
To a
Baggage
movie.
Claim. So if you're sitting there going, why do I know that name? So to me, for him to tell a family story like this, something that yeah, caters to the whole family, but the kids can really get into. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty darn awesome. Because as writers, we tend to get boxed in by genre. If you write poetry, that's it, you're a poet, and people think that's the only thing that you can do. If you write horror, people think you can only write horror, and if you segue into something else, it's like, where do you think you're going, kind of thing. But I think he nailed this.
Yeah, he did. He did a phenomenal job. So when we look at it in totality, we're looking at a piece that could very well be a sequel, even though we don't want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
It could have spin-offs, which I would probably accept more than a sequel, a spin-off,
Mm-hmm.
which plays a little differently. I could
Right.
also accept, and I would welcome it becoming a stage production, like on Broadway productions. I think that it will be so
Yeah.
rich. Anytime that you can take the Lion King and make that come alive on stage,
Mm-hmm.
then I could very well see this do that. So that would be grand.
Mm-hmm.
And just so many of the components about life and living, and it speaks to every member of the family in a different way, is what
Mm-hmm.
I think makes it a new classic when it comes to the holiday season.
Okay. We have to talk about Miss Johnston,
Okay.
my favorite character in this whole thing, because she was like, look, I'm a widow, you're a widower, let's get this thing going. She was shameless with it. She was like, when you're
She
with
was like,
me,
I'm
you're
gonna
good.
shoot my shot.
Okay. And there was one part where I swear Forrest Whitaker was about to break and start
Character,
laughing
yeah.
because she played the mess out of that role, her and her backup dancers.
But I wonder how much, when people are about to break character, a part of the reason why is that someone has done something that is impromptu and not in the script. Because
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much can prepare yourself for, what's scripted, because you practice it over and over again. Everyone has read over the script, not just their parts, but the company parts, because you have to, so you can know how to
Yeah.
respond and react. So evidently, either if it was scripted, she did something that was a little different than what she's done in rehearsal and took him back, or she did something that was so impromptu that he wasn't ready.
Yes.
So, so he had to
Yes.
kind of get himself back together and get back in the character. But
Yeah.
who would have thunk? And I even thought, who would have thunk? I love makeup words from that person,
Mm-hmm.
or use words that are not even in the dictionary. All my English teachers are cringing. That he could sing. Where did that come from? It's just like, okay.
He studied opera in college, because I'm right there with you. When I saw this last year and they go, oh, Forrest Whitaker's going to be singing, I was like, oh my goodness, why? Why are they making this man sing? Is it meant to be comedy? And then he opened his mouth and I was like, wait a minute, he's carrying them
Right.
notes. He's carrying, not one note dropped out that bucket. Okay, all right, we can let him do this. I accept and receive it. It's good. It's good. But that's initially what he went to college for.
Wow. And look how it all came full circle. And
Yeah.
I guess what we can do to kind of wrap up is to talk about how the factory, there's been many beliefs as to why the factory was there but not there all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
There's one belief that the factory wasn't visible, because you had to it came back to you if you believed in it, and you had the Christian spirit or whatever. That's one belief structure.
Mm-hmm.
The other belief structure is that it's something wonderful and magical that's hiding in plain sight. I would prefer to believe that to be the case, because
Right.
how many times have we been in the midst of something that was great and didn't realize it until someone brought it to our attention? We didn't know that that place housed that, or those people lived there, or
Right.
that did this. Someone
Hmm.
had to bring to our attention, like, oh wow, it's been in front of me all this time. So I prefer to lean more on the, not the whimsical and the magical thing about Christmas, because Christmas does have its own little magic. That to me,
Hmm.
that would be easy. I tend to want to lean on that it was something beautiful in plain sight that was just overlooked
Right.
until someone pointed out and said, that's what that is. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And final word on this, and then we can give it our ratings. I think one of the reasons why I love this movie, because like I said at the beginning, I can do Christmas movies, but I can't do corny and I can't do overdone, is because they didn't make the very center of the story about, oh, we have to do this because Christmas coming. The thing that was coming at Christmas wasn't great. But even when they got done, there wasn't a tree. There wasn't, we have to put the gifts under the tree. We all have to stand around it and, do the whole Charlie Brown singing carols thing. Christmas was a deadline. And the rest of the story, the things that we talked about, were the important pieces.
yeah.
So that made it unique to me.
Hmm.
And I love when a story is done like that. So that being said, what's your final rating on this?
Are we doing 5, 10? What are we doing?
I mean, sky's the limit. Make it what you want to make it today.
Well, if we're going to do stars or tomatoes or whatever, I would
Mhm.
say I would give it probably 4.5.
Mhm.
I give 4.5 stars or tomatoes, or what have you. I've seen where most sites have given it 4, and
Mhm.
I feel like that. I feel like that's reasonable because people gonna always find something that could have been different, could have been better.
Mhm.
But when you think about the fact that we are very married to Christmas shows that were made 50 to 60 years ago, like everything that was done by I think it's Rankin and Bass. That's the one that does all the almost like claymation looking
Oh,
like
okay.
the
Yeah.
Rudolph whatever. So
The
all
stop
those
the
fell
stop
under, yeah,
film. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
All of those fell under one creator, or
Right.
creators, like two creators. So we're married to that. We're married to the old Scrooge. The new one is even pretty good, but
Yeah.
we're married to stuff that is at least no no earlier than maybe 20 years old.
Mhm.
Elf kind of slid in there.
Right.
That's a newer one. I want to say that maybe 15 to 18 years old.
Yeah.
But for the
Elf
most
and
part,
Christmas Story.
we're pretty much, really aligned with this stuff that was out even before we were born, or we're too little to remember where, how it came out. So for
Mhm.
something to kind of like a breakout Christmas movie, and it kind of gets us all thinking and wanting to see it, and I would definitely give it 4 for that. I really would give it 4
Okay.
for that. The appeal.
I give it a 5, mainly because it's a unique story. It's framed in a unique time. The genre that they chose to tell the story through, it's also different, even for the new Christmas stories that are being made. It's not done with that level of imagination to put it in
Mm-hmm.
the steampunk world, and it's believable to a point that, okay, yeah, there could be a community like that at some place in time. It's not so far fetched. And again, like I said, it's not leaning heavy on, oh my goodness, we can't find a Christmas tree, we have to get it up, and there are no trees left in the forest, kind of thing. So I give it give it a 5 based on that. There were no hard miracles that they were looking for. They were looking to each other. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I give it. So that being said, that was our show for today. We're going to ask you to make sure you follow us on all of our platforms.
All of them. All of them. Not
All
just some,
all
but
of
all.
go check us out. We're wonderful. We're wonderful people. You can find me right here at nikkeiwrites.wordpress.com. And I suppose before you all go run there, I should probably post something for you to read. Needs an update over there.
Oh
You
wow, we're
can
not gonna talk about
follow
my platforms.
Oh Child. Oh Child.
Mm.
Follow Don at donmiskel.com. Make sure you spell it Miskel. All right. That's the last name. That's really his name. And check him out. I had a chance to talk to him this week, and he's working on some new stuff. Very excited. So, the Brandywine trilogy is his story. He's expanding that. So, make sure you check him out so you know when things are coming about over there. And then our friend right over here, NicoleDeCandice.com. Make sure you check her out. Like she said, she's a life coach. And yeah, she may need to go put some stuff on there, but the stuff that's already there is good. Go check it out. And at the top of the show, at the opening, you heard Robert Rice Jr. That's
Yeah.
our theme music. Go check his page out. Go ahead and download his music. It's nice. Smooth. It's smoothology for a reason. It's smooth. It's smooth. Go check it out. Okay. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And share,
Yeah,
like,
share,
subscribe. We need to
share.
change
I
that
need to
too.
add that. Share, share. We
Yep.
we want more friends. All right. So you can find us. You can find Movies That Move We on Media That Moves We over on YouTube, and you can join our Facebook group, Movies That Move We, and pop on by. Just don't spam. We don't like spam, but engage in the conversation because we talk
Yeah.
about more than the movies we talk about right here. Okay. All right. Let's see. YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, I got all the
Yeah, and make
places.
sure that you answer the questions because we will not accept you into our little group unless you answer those 3 questions, like, your grandmother's maiden name,
You
your
know
first
what?
grade teacher, and your childhood address. All the things that allow us to hack into all your accounts. So we're gonna need you to share that. No, I'm playing. We're asking general stuff just to make sure that you have the right intentions for joining the group.
Right.
So please answer those questions. They're really simple, and we'll let you in with open arms. And just feel free to post and to share and to contribute. We're looking forward to that.
Okay. And there you go. So we want to wish you all a very merry holiday. I don't
Yeah,
think we're going to be back on Christmas week, are we?
probably not.
No. So enjoy this. Okay. Talk about this. Share it with your friend. Share it during the holiday. Make this your discussion piece at the family gathering. Okay. They'll
Yeah,
enjoy it.
stay away
Trust me,
from
they'll love it.
stay away from politics and religion. This is safer. This is safer. I'm
Talk
telling you.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
and
movies and movies.
I'm liking the fact that those she lives in Delaware, that New York is coming out. Yeah, that she is a native New Yorker. I'm about to sing that song. What, New York City Girl? Yeah, she is a native New Yorker.
All right, friends. So until after the holidays, we'll see you later. Be
Yes,
well. Bye.
and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.